Is it not violence and corruption to have physical security while others are starving? Is it not violence and corruption to have physical security while others are starving? Who is asking this question? Who is, please, the speaker is asking you. Who is asked this question? The man who has physical security and considering the poor, the starving, or the starving are asking this question? You understand my question? If you and I are comfortable, then we can ask this question. If you and I are really very poor, would we ask this question? See, there are so many social reformers in the world. The do-gooders. I won't go into it now because we haven't time for it. If you look at it carefully, are they fully fulfilling themselves in social work? Doing something for the poor? This question has been put to the speaker when he's in India. What are you doing for the poor? They are starving. You seem to be well fed. What do you do? You understand these questions? So I'm asking, who puts this question? We are not avoiding or evading this question. We have been brought up, the speaker, in poverty. Is that speaker, when he was young, living in poverty, asking this question? So there is poverty in the world. Slums, appalling conditions. There are no slums in Switzerland, apparently. Thank God. The slums, ghettos, the very, very, very poor, 1 meal a day, and all that. What do we do about it? That's really the question, isn't it? You may be well fed, I may not be so well fed. But the question is, what do we, human beings, seeing all this, what's our responsibility? Are we concerned? Please, we are not avoiding the question. Are we concerned with poverty? Poverty. What does that mean? Where? Physical poverty or psychological poverty? You understand? Psychological poverty, psychologically being poor. In this sense, you may have a lot of knowledge about the psyche, but you're still poor. The analyst, he's a poor, and he's trying to correct the other person who is also poor. So, what is poverty? To be poor, not to be sophisticated, ignorant. You understand? So what is ignorance? Is it the lack of reading a book? writing, having 1 meal a day, 1 cloth a day, or poverty begins first psychologically, and then you can correct everything outside. You understand? If I'm rich inwardly, I can do something. If I myself am poor inwardly, poverty means nothing outside. And then I want to help. So we have not only to understand what is poverty, the poor, sympathy, generosity, all that's involved in this. If you have 1 shirt, you give it. Once the speaker was walking in the rain in India, and the little boy came up and said, "Sir, give me some money." Said, speaker had no money. So he said, "Give me your shirt." I said, "All right," just pouring. So I gave it to him. Then he said, "Give me your undershirt." I said, "Just a minute. Come with me to the house. You can have anything you like. Food, clothes, anything you like. Within limits, of course." So he came with me, holding my hand. He was very poor, dirty. We walked together to the house. I left him. The speaker left him and went upstairs to get some clothes for his boy. And the boy went round the house, looking into every cupboard, all over the place. The person with whom the speaker was saying caught him. He said, "What are you doing in this part of the house?" "Oh," he said, "he asked me to come in. But he didn't ask you to come upstairs and look into all this." He said, "Why are you doing it?" And the boy got rather frightened. He said, "My father is a robber." He was casing the house. You understand that phrase? So, we have not only to deal with poverty externally, but also inwardly. Probably there would be no poverty in the world if all the scientists of all the nations got together and said, "Look, let's solve this problem." They could. But nationalities divide them, communities divide them, religious belief divide them, right? And nepotism, somebody, I know, I'll help you. So the whole world is opposed to this kind of action, right? That is to put aside all our nationalities, beliefs, religion, and help. Really work all together to solve this problem of external poverty. But nobody will do this, right? We've talked to politicians, to hire people, but they're not interested, right? So begin with ourselves first. How can our limited brain grasp the unlimited, which is beauty and truth? What is the ground of compassion and intelligence? And can it really